recognize you and the representatives from NCDC, representative of the head of Primary Health Care Development Agency, that's still here, directors from the Center Commission for Persons with Disability. I recognize in no small measure the heads of all the civil society organizations and NGOs here, Disability Rights Magazine, and representative of the youth here. I didn't see the representative of the women with disability.
Yeah, she's here. Where is Shata?
Okay. Yeah. And I recognize also the presence of the representative from the Abino Foundation, the amputees, and voice of persons with disability. My brother at the extreme end. Yes, National Association of the Blind. I just got to hear that today. It gives me a great privilege to be amongst you this morning. Like Mr. David said, even though it's following a very short notice, I actually said I must come because this has become my family. And in this community, we must learn to work with each other, not minding each other's shortcomings because we are already disadvantaged. And I bring you warm greetings from the National Assembly, from the world's best speaker, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila, who is very passionate about the issues and concerns and advocating the rights of persons living with disability. He has sent his warm regards because I mentioned to him that something like this is happening. This couldn't have come at a better time. The issues and rights of persons with disability as it concerns COVID-19, vaccination issues, challenges, have become very glaring at a time when even people who were said to be able-bodied have been receiving all of the attention. My concern has always been who listens to the need and the rights of persons with disability. So this program offers a platform where we chart the way forward. I have heard about the challenges as it affects persons with disability. The last time I was at one of these events, I mentioned that even if a person with disability were to run into a house full of palliatives, it might be impossible for he or her to grab any of the items because if he or she is not blind, he or she might be deaf, he or she might be immobile. So it's entirely difficult for us to access what ordinarily other people could access. And that's the need for a special intervention in all forms of government palliative and intervention so that we are properly included and reduce this discrimination gap. I thank the federal government, Mr. President, who signed this bill, this act into law. And I like everybody to know, individuals, ministries, departments, and agencies, that the Discrimination Against Persons with Disability Prohibition Act is enforced. And persons who are seen to breach provisions of the act are liable to punishment and penalties. And my committee of the House, we have the mandate to ensure that we bring those perpetrators to book. In the coming week, we will see a public hearing of discrimination against persons with disability as it relates with travelers, and especially this time with air travelers. We'll be taking on so many reports that have come to my table on discrimination against our persons at the airports. And And that presentation will come with a lot of solutions which will make traveling for us a lot easier. I do not see the reason why it should be mandatory or compulsory for me to have an accompanying person to go with me. That alone, finding the travel ticket to go on a trip is a cost. Paying for another person is another cost. Discriminating on the times when I travel is a big issue. So one by one and one after the other, one issue at a time, we will be taking on these things, and in no time we would become liberalized. We would have our rights properly enforced, just like every other person. And in this case of vaccination, I would like to know by the end of this session engagement, what NCDC plans to do to ensure that persons with disability are properly included in their vaccination procedures and programs. I'd like them to educate us, because for me, it's not just about talking about the problems. I like us to fashion out a way forward. What will be the solution for persons with impaired vision, for persons with mobility inhibitions? What would be your role? Would you need to establish in-house inoculation centers for us? Or would you need to bring your personnel to the commission or designated points where persons with disability can come, and then you possibly tie us to maybe a nearby health center or a special group, because we are a special people, to attend to us so that we are properly included. So for me, that will be the highlight of the event for me. And I'd like to reassure all of us that I'm with you in every step of the way. I am with you to ensure that your rights, as enshrined in the Act, will be properly carried on. As we go on, you are aware that the Act, like every other law, might not have been well articulated at the time it was made. And even if it were, the only constant thing in life is change. And with the dynamism of time, there would have been things that have come out which will require tinkering to ensure that we come to terms with the reality of the present day. I assure you that the House, my committee and myself, were making efforts to ensure that whatever shortcomings that exist in the Act will be properly taken care of in the amendments that will follow. As a committee, also, we have scheduled a nationwide summit, national summit, thank you, that will bring together relevant stakeholders and civil society organizations connected with disability issues. I'm aware of Mr. David, CCD, which has become a frontline dating so many years back. And I'm also aware of the voice of persons with disability, the Albino Foundation, Association for the Blind, Jonah Pete, which is like our mother umbrella body, and then applicants with disability, and so many other groups that have been writing me. And then there's this other group for inclusion of persons with disability in electoral matters. I think Friends, Inclusive Friends, and a whole lot of others. So we can all come together and enlighten the public on the intent of this discrimination against persons with disability Prohibition Act. Those are part of the things we've lined out for the year. As we progress, I will keep intimating us. Thank you very much. I wish you a very pleasant deliberation. Thank you.